What up, peoples? I almost said cum stacks, but we don't know each other well enough for me to call all of you cum stacks. I like to use the word cum stack. I have a friend who I called him a cum stack. I said, "Hey, cum stack," and I told him, think about how much cum you'd have to qualify as a stack. That's gross. Anyway, I'm going off on a random rampage here. I still not feeling really too well, and just getting on the ass end of this cold here. So I should be back in full force in a few days. But in the meantime, I wanted to do the question of the week because I didn't get to do VMX show, so I'll do it in a separate video. And basically, question of the week is where I ask you guys a question and you guys answer it, and then I kind of go through the answers and comment on them. And it was going to be part of the VMX show, but just doing it separately this week, and it's done exclusively on the Facebook page. So if you're not a member of the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/NecroVMX. All you have to do is hit like. Anyway, the question of the week I asked is, what is the one game you've always wanted but you never owned? Like maybe you just saw it advertised and you thought it looked good and you never got it. And maybe you played it, but you never owned it or whatever, or maybe you just rented it or whatever. So I got a lot of answers, so I'm just going to go through these. Let's see. I'm not going to name names, so if that's a concern, if you're worried about, I don't want to answer because my real name, because it's Facebook. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to go through the answers, not the people. So let's see. This person said War of the Monsters. Now, I think I've played that. War of the Monsters. I'm trying to remember if that was the Godzilla game. Because there was... Oh, no, that was that Godzilla knockoff game on PlayStation 2. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a weird choice for a question like this. This person said Maximum Carnage. It's not that good. Nights into Dreams. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, you can actually get the upgraded version for the Wii, I think. It's not that great, though. Somebody said Pong. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could play Pong like on a Flash game online, Metal Gear Solid 4? Yeah, I don't know. Even people who like Metal Gear Solid didn't really like that one that much. This person said Darkstalkers series. See, this is not an answer because I asked what is the one game, not give me the name of a series. So that's not a valid answer. This person says, I know you don't like this game, but Earthbound. Well, if you always wanted to own it, I mean, I can imagine that would be a pain in the ass because, hold on one second. Trying not to make gross phlegm sounds into the microphone. That was expensive when it came out. I think it was like at least $100 when it came out, and now it's only worse. So I can only imagine if you really wanted to own that game, it's a pain in the ass. This person said a good Zelda sequel. Once again, that's not an answer. That's not a valid answer. I'm not asking. See, the point of the question was for you to tell me what is that one game that you've always wanted to have and you never owned it. Not to give you a forum to bitch about something like, oh, I don't like this. Like a good Zelda sequel. I mean, basically, so you're saying that only the original Zelda was good and they all suck. I mean, that's idiocy. Phantasy Star 4 is a good answer. This person said Capcom vs. SNK 2. I have 3 copies of that because I have it for Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. Conker's Bad Fur Day. That came out really late in the Nintendo 64 library, so I can imagine that kind of a bitch to find now. Dragon Warrior 3 NES. Yeah, I mean, probably easier to find the Game Boy Color one now, but it might be on Virtual Console. Not sure. This person's Final Fantasy VI, and they said it came out before I started to like RPGs. Well, once again, that one was re-released a bunch of times, but yeah, it's like even like the Game Boy Advance one, it's like expensive. Like I saw it in a store once, just the cartridge, nothing else, and it was like $20. And this was only like a year or two ago, so it's not like it's just a long time ago. So yeah, for a Game Boy Advance game to be $20, just the cartridge like that, not even complete, I can only imagine if you had the box and everything how much it would be. Let's see what else. This person said BioShock. Yeah, you got to get BioShock. There's no reason not to have BioShock. I mean, unless you don't have... I mean, you would have to not have either an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, and then also not have a computer that can run it, and even my old computer could run BioShock. So this one says the three... okay, see, I'm not even going to read the rest of that. All right, I do want to read the rest of it because it's an interesting comment. He says the 3 Castlevania games on the NES wasn't allowed to have them as a kid. Lol. I'm kind of curious as to why you weren't allowed to have them, but that's not a valid answer. I'm asking the one game. See, you got to one game, not 3 games, one game. This person says Uncharted. Never had a PlayStation 3 to play it, but I watched all of them and edited down the cinematic form online. However, I would still love to actually play them myself. See, that's not a valid answer. You're basically saying the Uncharted series. I'm asking you one game. Descent for PC. I think I saw a friend play it when I was younger, and I only recently found out what it was called. That, and then he comments again. So he has a perfectly valid answer. Then he comments again and he says that and Ape Escape 3. Well, which one is it? What's the one game? This person says Wario World. I saw it a bunch as a kid, but could never afford it. And I saw some gameplay on YouTube. It just looked fun, and I've still never played it. Yeah, it is fun, and you should try to get a copy. It's not that hard to find. If you have a Wii, you could play it on that, I guess. Let's see. This person says Monster Rancher always appealed to me when my friend played it. Yeah, it's not that good. Pokemon Emerald. Well, okay. Ogre Battle 64. I wish I'd gotten it when it first came out. To get a copy now, I'd have to shell out like $200 for a used copy. That is true, but you can get it on Virtual Console, so there is that. I have it on there. It's the only way to get it, unless you want to spend a ridiculous amount of money. Mine isn't a video game, but I've always wanted the Addams Family pinball machine for 20 years. I used to play it every day when I was 16. Yeah, I mean, it's not a video game, but it's an interesting answer. Yeah, I could see that, and like I don't really imagine that pinball machines are probably really expensive to buy. This person says Final Fantasy 3. I don't know if they really mean 6 or if they mean like 3. Dragon Quest 8. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time. You should definitely get a hold of that. So yeah. Let's see. Dracula X on the Super NES, mostly for collector's purposes, because I know it's not as good as 4, but I'd love to play it regardless. I mean, like people turn that into sort of a like, oh, it's not as good as 4. Yes, that's true. But like 4 was a masterpiece, so saying it's not as good as 4 is like saying that a blowjob is not as good as sex. It's like, yeah, it's not, but it's still pretty awesome. So, the people who bitch about it, it's like, come on, it's a good game. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. I have the stuff to get it to work and to translate to text to English. Okay. Mortal Kombat Arcade, the actual arcade. Oh, so you want like an actual arcade machine of Mortal Kombat. That would be cool to own. That would be cool. But kind of like the pinball answer, I'd imagine arcade machines are probably really expensive to have. Batman on the NES. Yeah, that was a cool one. Black for PlayStation 2. It's not that great. MotorStorm. Not sure if I know that one. Chrono Cross for PlayStation is a good answer. I do have a copy of that. It's all scratched up, so I have like a backup copy that I use. I forget whether I bought it on the PSN or not. I'd have to grab my PSP to check, and it's on the charger somewhere. So, okay. See, I'm going to skip this next one. They answered 2 games. They just listed 2 games. I'm not going to read it if you're not going to give me a valid answer. The valid answer is 1 game. Let's see. Bit of cheating, choosing 2 games. Well, not going to. Well, actually, you know what? I will read this one because, and I'll tell you why. It says bit of a cheating, choosing 2 games, but Ico and Shadow of Colossus. I never owned a PlayStation console. Why couldn't they have ported them to Xbox? Well, okay. First off, the reason I'm answering that is because you can get it as one thing for PlayStation 3, so it's sort of like 1 game there. Even if it's not 1 game, but it's 1 release. Why couldn't they have ported to Xbox? That's a stupid question because they're made by Sony. I mean, they're first party developed. I mean, Team Ico is part of Sony. They're owned by Sony. That's like, really? Why would they put it on the Xbox? That would be like Nintendo making a Mario game and porting that to PlayStation 3. The Wind Waker always looks so fun. Yeah, Wind Waker's great. That's my favorite Zelda game. Skyward Sword never got a Wii. I'm not a fan of that one. Let's see. Super Mario 64 was the first time I saw 3D graphics, but owning a Nintendo 64 was almost impossible for me. Well, not impossible now, right? You could get that once again. I'm pretty sure that's on Virtual Console, and there's also the DS version. Let's see. Resident Evil, the remake on the GameCube. I've been a huge RE fan since the first one came out. I was 12 at the time. I played every main entry and almost all the side entries, but I never had a GameCube, and I never played that or Resident Evil 0. Well, that's a good one. Resident Evil 0 sucked, but you didn't put that as your answer, but it did suck. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PlayStation 2. Yeah, it's hard to find, and when you do find it, it's expensive. I got lucky. I got it for like $50. And final answer, Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction. I had heard that they were making a Ratchet & Clank game for PlayStation 3, and I really wanted it. Now I could care less about it. Well, then that's not really a real answer. Because the question is, what is the one game you've always wanted but never owned? If you don't want it, then why put it? But anyway, mostly good answers. I'll be asking another question sometime later tonight on Facebook, so keep an eye out for that. See you guys.